Okay, since these creatures are flagging my videos, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal things about them. The person that is flagging this is a guy, one of them, buzz cut, all of that. And I'm gonna reveal something that they don't want me to reveal, which is, do you understand? There is a targeted individual projects where people are being targeted globally. They've been trillions of dollars on it, and it is them. I mean, trillions of dollars of taxpayer money has been spent on it. What they do to get all of this is they do work as what's considered private contract. So then they're taking taxpayers' money and then they're funneling in and giving this government ET techs, ET technology. They use that personally on themselves. Sometimes they buy those luxury cars and all that. And to pour salt onto a wound, when David Grush tried to really come forward with this information, they would sit at the lower ranking. I see a remote view in a room, what looks like control panels in a hallway. He's standing in the center of this room talking to a few personnel, military personnel. Those that are controlling these control panels are one of them. One of these, I guess I call them the wicked Nephilims, the hybrids, the Illuminatis. So this kid, he looks like a kid, buzz cut, military. He sits there. Then he takes on like that role. It's a specialist role that control these control panels, these weapon systems. And these weapon systems are sold out by private contractor to the military. So they're spending like trillions of taxpayers' dollar to these private entity companies that are a front to ET-owned tech. A lot of people would not believe that. But I'm going to further release insight. For example, because these ETs are working deep inside the Pentagon, these ETs are working to develop private weapon systems that they sell out to the government. These money is primarily from taxpayer because they get government contracts that are paying them trillions of dollars in defense weapon system. They are a private contract company. Now, China, I saw, Russia and a few others have already hacked into the United States. They know about ET personnel that work there. And these ET are negatively oriented because if you are a targeted individual, you are being attacked by these weapon systems. These weapon systems that they implement. It's a crowd control weapon system. It's a mind control weapon system. It's a voice to skull weapon system. It then bypasses the human's neurological system. It loops around and tightens around the ear, and then it creates commands, psychic driving. And that's how they attack these targeted individuals. Now, since the system is created to gaslight these people will come out and share things that they are going through, and they won't share it coherently where you would understand, because what they're going through is meant to confuse them. It's meant to destabilize them, confuse them, and kind of disrupt the norm of their lives, to the point where, and since it is an alien system, it is something confusing to them as they are being targeted. Where are these weapons situated? They're situated, the control panel is controlled by these hybridized being that everybody in the military, in the system, see them as humans. But they are not. They are not human. They even see themselves as humans because they've kind of been mimicking human, been hybridizing, and so they don't see the extraterrestrial component of them and how it dominates their entire being. Even when I had a being from the future I know that sounds crazy. A being from the future created a tunnel in space, in my conscious mind space, to communicate with me. I had to push beyond the screen of the face of this being, because I'm like, where are you located in time and space to be able to communicate with me? Because sometimes I'll see face of dead people, I'll communicate them with them that way. But in this case, I wanted to know, where are you in time and space and reality? Are you alive, dead, or are you on the other side? Are you earthbound or disembodied? In this case, I had to push back and realize this particular being was from the future. I had to really look at this being, and what did I see? I see European DNA in this being, I see gray DNA, and I see reptilian DNA in this being. This being asked that I sit here because it was sitting elevated in a council, the council in the future, and it was orbiting future time space on Earth. It's almost like a ship that is set in a future timeline, and it is communicating, creating this tunnel to communicate with me in the past, of Earth's past. It wants me to sit with it, around this council, but I refuse to sit with it just because I am not from that timeline. I do not want to time hop into the future. The future timeline looked so different. It looks like it was like 300 million years into the future. Humans no longer exist. What exists is these hybridized beings. It's strange how they see themselves. They just see themselves as us, but in the future. But because I see them in such a different way, from my own viewport, my own mind, from my own psychic reading, versus how they see themselves, they kind of see themselves through this delusional screen. They see themselves as us, but from the future. They don't have a very clear way of trying to really communicate that, of how they see themselves as us, but from the future. Yes, this being is communicating with me from the future, but it is spliced. It is no longer us. This thing happens, if you don't know, when you move forward in time, things happen called a divergent between species. You become something totally different, and you cannot relate back or claim yourself to be one of that species that you diverge from, or you splice, or you become. You are something new. And I knew that my existence in their future timeline is forbidden. I shouldn't even be in there, and so I try to break off communication with this being. And so this being has some of its people that looks human. They look human, but then when you look at their genetic component, you're gonna see, okay, the human phenotype, human look is fully present, making them look more like us, so they come back into the past to do that. But if you take their gene, you're going to see components of it kind of different from us. It's kind of strange how they see themselves, because, and they are like an interjection and an invasion into our Earth and reality. Now, if you look at Earth's evolution, because they've interfered with Earth's evolution, we already have biologists kind of seeing the divergent and atavist traits, where they said there was reptilian genes, then the reptilian diverge into mammals, into various species on Earth. But the evolution of Earth started, with a single cell that divide and then that diverge. When a mutation happens in any species, that mutated species no longer becomes the original species. That's why when they said Africa was the cradle of civilization, and then the first being on Earth happens to be dark-skinned people, and then a divergent happened to kind of create everything. Divergent meaning all of a sudden this blue eye pop up, lighter skin pop up, and that does happen. And this particular being is more like an interjection into human Earth's evolution. It doesn't belong here, and it shouldn't integrate.